about it. All right, cool. We can hear, we can see. Welcome to the Grandmaster edition. A lot of good things. Now, there are, of course, the same pay for tasks that existed previously. But did this end up being a better installment of things than we had before? I think so. Why? Well, number one, this one I'm really excited about. Now, this is something that we couldn't talk about. Me and a couple of the other NDA guys and gals were pretty excited about it, talking about it yesterday, but they didn't say it, so we couldn't say it. But primes. They have added in a lot. They almost doubled the amount of free-to-play primes available in Alliance tournaments with this update, which that alone should get you excited. Remember, that was actually one of the things that I have ad nauseum, repeatedly, etc. praised Scopely for in 2024 because they really listened to our push and added a lot. Well, in today's update, we have, I'm going to count them, 10 new primes. I'm including all the levels. Right, I'm including levels. And Mark's going, really? I don't notice the Valor. That's the thing. Valor pays for 10 primes in the game. Now, 5 of those are the USS Disco levels, but I mean, it still matters, right? That's something you would have to buy individually. So 10 have been added to the Alliance Tournament store. And because I love y'all, I spent this morning updating the spreadsheet. Bam, right here. So you got your 5 disco ones. Obviously, there's a little bit of level capping there. Now, I'm there that thought that never should have been there. I never thought that should have been a prime, but it was a prime, and now you have the ability to free to play it. You got that right there. Then you have some PvP ones with the station delay. This is actually one of the things that, in my opinion, really has killed raiding, because it really nullified for a lot of people the ability for a lower level to defend against a higher level. Now, you can have that as well. I still don't necessarily like the mechanic, but I like that now everybody has access to it. You also have prime crit hit reduction, station delay, and the Armada refinery for you free-to-plays. This actually, I think, is the most important one for you. That one in particular. So, that's good. I mean, just right out the gate, I got to get some positives out there. I don't want my channel to ever just be the negative Nancy channel. This is a huge positive. Yeah, we can definitely get annoyed when things are like, oh man, they want us to spin. Well, cool. Of course they do. But this is fantastic. This is a great move. We like to see this, and hopefully more of this type of stuff continues to happen. So really like the additions to the primes. Of course, this is on our prime spreadsheet. This is in our Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, well, join it. And if you need it somewhere else, I can always send it to you. Let me get this back into here, because we also have the Alliance Tournaments Grandmaster task, which materials to get shards. Am I against that as an idea? Not really. They're really trying to source these PvP officers, which I guess is fine. I'm kind of tapped out at the moment. I'm not tapped out, but I'm not ready to blow the things yet. But I did tell you there's going to be heroic events, and I said if you wanted to do all these heroic events, it's a spin baby spin type of a set. That doesn't mean I'm trying to say it's bad. I'm just simply saying, look, at least you know when they're at. Like, for example, this is the one that actually tempts Rev, right? This is the one that tempts Rev, but even then, I don't know if I'll go and dump 17.5 million points to get, you know, a handful of shards. I'm only getting 20 shards there. Now, you're also getting the currency, and then of course you have the new region ALB, which has the new Georgia specialist set, sword and Starfleet Q in it, with a nice chunk of shards for each one, and of course a special little avatar, which you know I want. Now we have to get into the top 3, top 5, be able to get that fancy avatar. Oh wow, they actually shared the avatar out more than normal. I'm actually happy with that. So you got to get in the top 10 to get the avatar, so hopefully my alliance can manage that. But those are the new tasks for the Grandmaster, you know, going above and beyond essentially. And then of course we have a lot of our standard tasks, and I will hit up Quasar. We'll double check all of those. Yeah, we have the normal stuff. I should be able to go ahead and grab that, so let me go ahead and do that now so we get our 10Ks in. But welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing a fantastic time. Someone know which particle it is for the Prime Armada Refinery? Yes, Prime Valor. Prime Valor. That's why it's in the spreadsheet, right? I just showed you the spreadsheet. I just showed you. Prime Armada gives you that. Now, What does it do? How about I put that on the screen? That might be helpful for some people because I'm recommending it. I might as well tell people why I'm recommending it, right? So do that. We'll rotate. So gives you +1 rolls to your G4 and G5 Armada bundles. Again, for something that you can get free to play. 100% recommend for the average player out there. We talk about the G4 chest being terrible. Well, this doesn't really change that, but it does significantly help improve what you get out of it. Like, it's not changing what's in there, but you get more of what's in there, which can be nice. Then obviously for the G5 chest, really, really good. So love the Prime Valor emblem for that. That's actually what I'm personally going to focus on. But lots of other good things in there as well. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting for the disco stuff for a long time, so I won't get mad at y'all if y'all choose to go disco first. But personally, that Prime Valor is the one that, like, ooh, I really like. You know, like that one. Your feeling seems to be the amount of charge is too low for the resource spend cost. That's what I feel, CO. Now keep in mind that when you're looking at that, yes, you're only getting those shards, but then it's connected to the event store. I guess I should have covered that, you know, more in depth. So let's just use Q here. So you're getting these shards here. I think it's 25 of those. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, 100 of those is 25 there. So you get 100, and then you got to go into your event store. Back out real quick. So you got like a little fancy event store with, wow, I feel terrible. But as soon as I saw that, my brain did not see the L. I hate to be that guy. I really do. I hate it. I'm not trying to be that guy. When I saw it, I'm telling you, when I saw it, my brain did not see the L, and I saw pay to win immediately. I need help. I really do, chat. But I didn't see that L for the life of me, man. I just straight up saw pay to win. But there's your tokens. So you've got, you know, the ability to get this to earn these. So if you were to complete that and you had 100, well, just, you know, multiply this by 100, right? So that would give you, assuming you finished it, you would get a full task. So that's basically what they're paying. They're saying if you complete the heroic SMS, you get a full task worth of points, a 10K task worth of points in the Armada, oh, I'm sorry, the Alliance Tournament store. In the Alliance Tournament store, which is, again, that could turn into more primes for you and such. Now, am I telling you to go after that? No. I mean, I'll be honest, like I said, we do have a 2-week break here before we have this next arc starting, but I'm a bit tapped and I'm saving everything for as soon as that Enterprise A is done, moving to 60, building the D, doing all those things. And I want to have all that stuff for. So, yeah. Master says, oh, what those Alliance tasks do. I don't know if that's a real question or if you're being, like, facetious. Multiply everything by 100? Yes. Multiplication is fun. Just add zeros. Multiplying by 100 is easy. Just add zeros. What you got to do. 0, 0. Bam. Look at that. You found the number. Fantastic way to do it. All right. Let me jump back in here. Let's take a look at the store. So, things that have been added are all in the top row. Now, keep in mind, it is level restrictive. So, what I mean for that is, previously, you would see everything in here. Now, you can see everything because I'm Masters League. But if you're not Masters League, for example, you're not going to see the Kashar artifact. Everything that's been updated with Grandmaster, you only see if you apply in that league. So if you're going there and you're saying, Rev, they removed the Kashar. They did not. You just need to be in Masters League to see it. So there's your Prime Valor emblems. Again, in terms of a cost, fantastic. You see they didn't like increase the cost just because it's new, which honestly is a rarity for scope. But again, I'm trying to be negative. I'm actually speaking positive. You know, it's the cost is the same. If you pull your 5 today, you would be able to start. Yeah, the cheapest ones are Prime Crit Hit Reduction or 500, and the first level of the Prime Disco Warp are 500. All the others are 1,000 Prime Valor emblems. But again, you got 10 primes now that have been made free to play. So that's pretty dope, in my opinion. Pretty dope. Up north saying, oh, okay, man. Okay. Can't have Rev even to 60, just waiting up on a good speed, a good spin event. Well, Snoot, hey, here you go. Here's your spin event. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it's here. All right, let me start working on these tasks. Because this is annoying me a little bit. This is actually supposed to be my downtime, right? It's the time between arcs. It's where we chill out a little bit. Here I've got another Alliance tournament 2 weeks later. The one big complaint I have of all this, honest to goodness, and I promise I'm not trying to be negative. One complaint I do have is Alliance tournaments is not happening so quickly. I do not have time to save up a lot of my things. That personally is annoying me. Now that I guess in the long term doesn't really matter because I'm getting the same amount of tasks done. You know, granted, like for example, if I can save 6 free-to-play tasks a month, regardless of whether they do 2 ATs or 1 AT, I'm still getting the 6 free-to-play tasks done. But I'm contributing, at least I feel like I'm contributing less to my Alliance. I feel more like I have to go do the grind ones. And I'm not doing them on this account. I already got to do the grind ones on another account. That don't really like. But, I mean, I guess in the end, I'm just going to do what I can. I'm going to do what I can and go from there. Major Salmon points out, not even 2 weeks, 8 days. So a little more than a week. Some things in the store are still on cooldown. Yeah, it's absolutely. And that is the thing. So what I look at with that, my response is going to be, hey, if you're willing to do Alliance tournaments 2 weeks, why don't you do Galactic Invasions every 2 weeks, right? Like you originally said you would. Galactic Invasions was supposed to be the thing they got 2 times a month. Give that back to me. Give that back to me. So James says, I rarely see the good 10K tasks. Always seem to be multi-phasics or G6. Gotta roll, and make sure you're working with your Alliance to work on those rolls. Yeah, I've only got 1 of these saved up, but hey, it's still 10K points. And more importantly, is that 10K task is going to give me the currencies I need to get those Prime Valor emblems. And if you remember from the last time we were doing this, I also have another skin I'm going for on my Borg Cube. So I picked up on this account the free tactical, that's a Borg tactical cube, but that's not what that skin's called. That's the Transwarp Drive, but I'm working on the binary cutter. So I have to come in here and manually write down. I have to do this every time because one thing that I wish they would update is removing the skins once I unlock them. Currently not how it works. So, I actually get the binary cutter this time around and the Armored Voyager next time. So I can start pulling my binary cutter. For those curious why I'm going to do that, it's the free way to have 2 charges on the cube. So I don't have to buy a prime for it or anything. Hold 2 charges, which is nice if you're like just leaving it auto grinding and then you just bang bang and go back to doing something else. Having 2 charges is pretty neat. So that way I will have free to play ground out over the past 4 months. Both skins for the cube. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. I would recommend it. Just like I'm recommending the Armada Prime with the Valors, I'm definitely recommending that. Now the Armored Voyager, not necessarily as important. I want it because it's cool. That one for the most part is cosmetic to me. It does add, by the way, what you would have gotten if you hadn't maxed out your Voyager does get put into your IA claim, but that's mostly just for looks. Binary cutter though is practical and useful, so I'll be going after that. And as you can see, I've gotten a lot of the other things from inside that store that I strongly recommend people go after. So how do you complete the Borg task you took? So the one I just did is completed in the refinery down in NX01 by turning in your opportunity chest. So if you save these opportunity chests, you can then turn those in to get this free-to-play task done. If you remember, it's on our Alliance Tournaments free-to-play list. So we have it on both the main list and the cheatable list. Like the easy, breezy, understandable list is right there. Acquire 6,000 uncommon export credits using your opportunity chest. Now the 16 to 24, that depends on the tier of your NX01. Because I have taken the NX01 to the very top tier, it only costs me 16 pulls. So it makes that even easier for me to save. Another reason to make sure you're not skimping. I have a lot of people ask all the time, Rev, should I stop my special ship at like tier 6? Do I need to keep it going? Yes. Yes. There's not really any special ships currently where you don't need to keep it going. So definitely max out the NX01. It makes this easier, which is nice because, again, we're talking about this giving access to so many paid items. You know, the comment was made on my YouTube channel yesterday that the Alliance Tournament Store is more valuable as a catch-up mechanic than the typical event store that rolls around every couple of months. And honestly, I can't argue that. There's a lot of truth to that. The fact that we're looking at, here, let's bring out the Prime sheet. Q-Snap. So this is, again, this is the sheet that Silva started that we've been working on for a long time. I was updating it this morning. Here are all the primes that you can get through Alliance tournaments. That's like 20 something free to play primes right there. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. So anything I can do to improve my tournament experience, I want to. And it's also why I feel kind of bad, like complaining that tournaments is happening so quickly back to back, but I need to be able to afford the task. So be able to afford the task. So got that. The Section 31 Disco is a nice addition. You need 2 tournaments to get it, and it's not terribly expensive. I would not necessarily recommend people go for it first, but it is nice to have. It does add Lorca into your Disco Refine. It's solid. It's not necessarily like, whee, solid. Then you got the USS Terror skin for your USS Trevor. Again, not something I would focus on, but you know, if you're really big into collecting everything, that's good. The Ferengi Whip, absolutely worth it. Again, reminder, we don't take it past tier 4 or tier 8. You can choose whichever stopping point you want, but we don't take it past tier 4 or tier 8. And then the Kishara, which I've got bound at 5 hostiles and I'm completely fine with it. Now, because I completed that task, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling my binary cutter because I kind of want it now. Kind of want it now. Sarcophagus is a special ship? Yeah, but that's old, Mihai. I'm talking about all the new special ships that have come out. There's not really any that we would go, hey, don't keep going. Stop it. Don't do that anymore. We don't do that, right? All of these new ones, the Monavine, we don't wait on. Like the Voyager, we don't wait on. The Defiant, which is technically not even newer anymore, we don't wait on. We keep that going to the tippity top. So keep that going to the tippity top. So oh, it's the Samo song. Thought I heard it. Okay, let's get my binary cutter. And when that cooldown hits, I'll know what I will have pulled enough. We need an easy way to view our Alliance mates officers without screenshots or screen sharing. Do we? Like, I've heard of people wanting to have like the ability to fight their Alliance mates in a special system so they can do crew testing. You were the first person I've ever heard saying, hey, I want to be able to look at my Alliance mates officers. Never heard that before. Is there a reason to upgrade the Gorn ship and get the parts? Yes. That's exactly why, Kyle. You upgrade it to get the parts. Now, you were talking about the Gorn Eviscerator parts. I'm talking about the ship parts. 100%. You need to get the Gorn Eviscerator level because that's going to improve the Eviscerator refinery, giving you ship parts. So, that's huge. Makes giving advice much easier. I see the logic, but again, that's something that hasn't really come up before. So if you get anything that's a big push, right? The Valor emblems, something that several people have been pushing for a while. You know, I pushed for the Ferengi Whip to get free-to-play sourcing for about a year. Right? And I'm not saying I can take full credit. There are a lot of people who are in this, you know, the secret rooms, right? We have, obviously, the community managers who are spread out amongst VIPs. We've got content creators. We got official moderators. You got the green team, the ecoms over on the official Discord. You have the special Star Trek Fleet Command Council that exists. That's like super secretive and nobody's supposed to talk about it. Oops. You have a lot of other things that exist as well, including feedback given through customer support, etc. So, you know, if enough people get back and start saying, hey, I really want this, it can happen. It can happen. All right, let me pull this before I forget. Get one more. I'm going to go unlock that binary cutter. I also need to pick up another 10K task, or Boss is going to get really mad at me. Accounts that exist allegedly. It's not alleged, Snoop Booper. It exists. I know people on the council. I'll put it that way. Am I supposed to know people on the council? No, but I do, right? Because that's my job, to find things out, to be an investigative journalist and very annoying. It does indeed exist. So, is it the most secretive organization in Star Trek Fleet Command history? Hands down, not even close. Very secret. But it is real. It's not like we're telling, say weird. It's not like Scopely saying, hey, we got a council, we listen to players, and it doesn't actually exist. It does exist. It does exist. Why aren't you on the council? I'm not on the council. But I'm okay not being on the council. It's not like I don't have access. I talk to game design every week, right? I get to talk to the community managers, and they respond to me a lot more than they respond to other people, right? I don't really feel like I need to be on it anyway. And that's not like me just deflecting and I actually feel bad. I truly am fine. What I've said before is we have amazing people who have access in different ways, because a lot of people who work with stuff like that are talking to people that I'm not, right? And then, for example, a lot of the mods and the ecoms are talking to people in live ops and stuff that I'm not associating with very often. And then I have people that I work with. So if everybody's, getting talked to, that's all that matters. And access is important. So they have my feedback. It's not like they don't know what I think, right? There's this really weird website that y'all might have heard of called YouTube, where I give everybody my opinion. Don't typically hold back. There's also Twitch. If you stay up a little bit late in the US, you get my opinion there. Usually a little bit more of a squirrely opinion, but yeah, that's more of like, here on YouTube, you get the more professional Rev, and on Twitch, you get Deuce. So, yeah, it's, there we go. So that's kind of my thing. Like, could content creators be on the council? Sure. But the same argument, I would say VIPs, for the most part, don't need to be on the council. Why? Because the VIPs have 3 times as many community managers as you do with, 100 times less people. Well, not 100 times. That's a little extreme. But you know what I mean. Right? So, I think that as long as everybody has the ability to speak and give things out, do that, whatever you have access to, and I have access to, a brand new pink cube. Why they went with pink, I do not know. But there we go. I got the binary cutter. Reminder, because I do feel like people ask this a lot. When you unlock a ship skin or a projectile, you do not have to apply it. You simply need to unlock it. It is like a research. It's an on-off switch. Once you unlock it, it is active. You don't actually have to wear it to get the bonus. Also, don't forget that with the Grandmaster, there's a special gift every day. So make sure you're coming in here and claiming it. And I would personally argue it's a very nice gift. Pretty good with the shards. Now I can actually take Enterprise E data up, and up. Pretty cool. So if you're not already claiming that, I would recommend you make sure you don't forget to claim it. This will be available, if I remember, every day. Samo, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's every day of the 5 days this tournament is running. So, again, if the RNG is that generous, you get such goodies, take the goodies. Take the goodies. Get on my, hold on. I'm trying to get on my other account real quick and remember to do it because it's early. I want to do it now. All right, and collect. Just doing it on 710 at the moment. All right, so there's my E data, US Spock, E Riker, and Picard. Now let's see. Parasiker says I got double that amount. For which? For all? Great. This is the exact same I get. So I just tested it just to make sure it's the exact same on both my level 29 and my level 56. I've not looked at any of my other accounts so far. One time only? Darn, I thought it was every day. Still, even if it is only one time, this is fantastic. So, you got a lucky E data 34. I got a lucky E data as well, Mark. All right, so real quick on this screen, the reason you see me with transporter patterns is because this just maxed out my E data. So whatever was left over came over here. So I did pull a max E data, but I just pulled a data, but I just maxed them out. So that is why you see me with 5 options instead of 4. Some of y'all probably see. Again, that's exciting for me. That's exciting. So very nice gift. Very, very nice gift. Enjoy. I would say, look, I get it. How do I word this? Normally, if they were going to tell me, hey, we want you to do a paid event every day for 5 days, normally we'd be a little bit of an uproar, right? Right? We'd be a little bit uproar. But here's why I'm not in an uproar. That gift chest, super good, right? Like, hey, here's some freebies. You don't want to do the officer shards? I'm going to give you officer shards anyway. And what I like is the officer shards they gave were free to play PvE shards, which is what most people need anyway. That's great. What else do I like? 10 primes made free to play in Alliance tournaments. That's not counting the other things. So, yeah, they obviously are like, hey, if you wouldn't mind, buy a couple of packs, finish a couple of events. Sure. You give me free to play stuff, I'm not going to be salty about 5 straight days of pay. I'm not. I have been placated. I have. Call me a shill. I've been placated. I have. All right, what primes are the Valor particles for? There's 10 of them. Now we're including multiple levels of them. So it is in the spreadsheet. It is in the Discord, but here they are down here. You've got 4 in the combat tree, 1 in the galaxy tree, and then all of the disco ones are in the starship tree. But I mean, when I say 10, I am trying to be honest. Like, this is 5 of them right there. But again, those are things that you would normally have had to pay money for. So even though it's the same thing, it's still 5, right? I'll share it in the YouTube channel real quick in the chat, but it is also in our Discord already. Of course, our other content creators, Samo, Lube, Chrono, whoever's here, are more than welcome to share this out. Tibbs, good to see you, Tibbs. And get to pull it. Get to pull it. The number ones that I would recommend, Prime Armada Refinery. That to me is the number one. Prime Station Delay if you're into base rating PvP and helping in incursions. And then obviously the disco ones are quite good. I'm not saying the others are bad. That's just my order of operations, my MO, what I would go after. So, is the Prime Valor emblem going to be in the tournament store from here on out? Yes. Now, they have not officially said that. That is what I have heard around the meat wagon. This is finally here and not leaving. Just like the Ferengi Whip, as you see, has now gotten sourced twice. Now, until they come out and specifically say it, you got to take everything said with a grain of salt. But around the meat wagon, that's what I've been told. So this is a permanent. And it makes sense, by the way, because if you look at the cost of these, all you can do right now is pull, 500, which isn't going to give you most of those primes. They all cost 1,000. So Kira shards are the favorite thing they've had. Really, Spartan. Now, I got to ask, and again, I'm not shaming you for what you like. Why is Kira your favorite? Is it simply because you love her as an actress? Like you love Nana Visitor? You just love the character? What about that? Super Unknown says first one costs 500, so 2 cost 500, right? The first disco costs 500, and then the first prime crit hit reduction costs 500. But neither of those are ones that I'm going to go after first. So, yeah. The only officer not maxed. Oh, you whaley whale and your whaley problems. It must be nice, and I'm glad you enjoy it. Really am. All right, let me get all these claim buttons clicked real quick, and then gotta exit out. All right, cool. Only want one account up right now. Got it. Gotta collect them all. Absolutely, absolutely. Pretty sure the Ferengi Whip isn't staying, but they updated the blog post with the Valor particles and permanent edition list. Sweet, did it. Now, the Ferengi Whip is not necessarily permanently staying in Alliance Tournament Store. However, don't be shocked. You see it in future event stores as well. I have not given up on the Ferengi Whip sourcing, FYI, just because I've helped get it into things like the Alliance store, or the event store in particular is the one I was fighting for. Doesn't mean we're gonna be like, oh, it was there once. Nope. Keep at it, right? But Valor is permanent. Again, I'm not confirmed that with the person who is running tournaments, but I'm pretty confident it is permanent. And somebody in the chat is saying the blog post is updated to say that as well. I actually did not read the blog post this morning because the blog post I thought should have come out yesterday, but they weren't going to publish it, so I didn't see it. Yeah. Here, the Ferengi Whip is good. I look forward to using it properly someday. Bet you do, Tibbs. Bet you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Have you asked about adding in the Tantalus and Slipstream? Okay, so what I've asked is not that specifically. What I've asked is for all the FTs that are not currently available in that list to be added into the Ferengi Whips pulls. So what I've asked is for all the rares and all the epics that are not currently in the Forbidden Tech Refinery to get added in. Now, the Quantum Slipstream in particular, I think is going to be the one that takes the longest to get added in, given its power and it is relatively the newest one. But yes, that's the route we're going. I'm not going forward in the Alliance tournament route. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But when it comes to the things that can be sourced via the whip, I'm trying to get them permanently added into the refinery where all the others are. Part of that is just how my brain works. I get really annoyed with, oh, this is over here, but then this is actually over there, and that one's down there. I actually like everything to be in the same spot. It'd be nice if all the FTs were in the same refinery. So that's the current push and the current goal. That's the current push and the current goal. I love my whip too far, and now it's hard to get the bells. Can I build another one, or I'm just screwed? You cannot build another one. It is 1 FT per person. Adding in rare and epic FTs in the whip would be great. I'm getting nothing but rare and epic tokens I can't use. Yeah. So, and I remind everybody, like, I understand why that's frustrating now, but when you don't have those FTs, those pulls are super valuable. And when the whip first came out, those pulls were super valuable, right? So I get why it's frustrating for people, but at the same time, like, I don't think Scopely was wrong to do it that way. When they made the whip, those were the most valuable items. Like the epic and the rare shards were the most valuable items that the whip could have paid out. So now my hope is to update what is available to bring back some of that value. All right, they could have it. Stop paying out the shards if you can't use them anymore. That doesn't make honestly much sense, Brett. It really doesn't. You want the loot table to suddenly change? Where else does that work? Like the loot table itself, like cuts itself off. That's, I mean, sure, but I don't feel like that's a good answer. I don't feel like that's a good answer. I think the better, and I was actually having this conversation with another one of the NDA folks yesterday because they're pushing it from their angle. Again, we just talked about how different people have different people they talk to. I was really stressing them because they wanted to try to get Scopa to change the loot table. Let me tell you, someone who has fought tooth and nail over some things with Scopely for 6 years. One of the hardest things you can do is try to get Scopely to change the loot table. Y'all know how many years it took to change the refinery loot table? That is one of the most difficult tasks you can ever do. If you're trying to like get Scopely changed through feedback and etc. Just simply adding things to the refinery, that is easy, you know, in terms of getting it done. And that's what I am encouraging all the other people out there. Tibbs, you're a people, you talk to people. Samo, you're a people, you talk to people. Getting more of these added in. That's the easy option. I really hope that ends up happening. So, I are people? Yes, y'all are people. Scopa doesn't listen to me? Okay, you can't say they don't listen, Tibbs. Because they do, as in they hear you. I didn't say it goes in one ear and out the other. It probably might do that. But they still, you have the ability, Tibbs. Tibbs, I know, for those that don't know, Tibbs is another one of our streamers. Tibbs is a little bit more on the pitchfork torches side at times, which is nothing bad to say, by the way. I encourage y'all to check out their content and their turtle. But regardless of how Tibbs feels, Tibbs does get listened to. How can I prove that? Tibbs has gotten responded to by at least 2 community managers in the past year. How many other people in the chat can say that? And that doesn't mean they treat Tibbs great either. I've had to elevate an issue for Tibbs. But the point I'm making is more voices is more better, okay? Hear me out. The more people doing it, the better it is, okay? Help me out there, Tibbs. Help me out. All right. I agree that giving us something else to do with the shards is the best option. If you think that's also the most likely solution, yeah, I do. Look, here's why I say what I say, right? At the end of the day, the people who are in charge of things like loot tables are not peons, but they're the working class of the game, right? But the working class can only do something if the upper management, you know, the people in the nice suits and the $8 billion buying Pokemon Go, I think it was actually like 3.5. Those people have to approve it. And if it's like, hey, to go and change the loot table and then test it and make sure that it doesn't break everything, let's just say that takes 10, 20 man hours, which is a very conservative estimate. That payment has to be approved. That's thousands and thousands of dollars of work, considering it's not just one, you know, button masher doing it for 5 hours. Like it takes things, right? Meetings have to happen, and then testing has to happen. Believe it or not, yeah, I can't wait for all the 300 people in here to talk about, what do you mean testing? So all these things have to happen to do that. Or you go after them with the thing that takes less time and effort. That's what I typically aim for, right? If it gets us the same result, in this case, the rare and epic fragments being useful, go for the easy option. Go for the easy option. Yeah, there come all the test. What do you mean testing? I thought we were the beta testers. For 6 years I've been here and I've never seen a fully released game. Well, you know what? Go play Rust and every other beta game that's live. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? So if you're trying, and if y'all are out there and you're like, hey, I don't want to do it for Star Trek Fleet Command, but maybe one day you want to be a content creator and you want to have, you know, the ear of a dev. The best routes have got to be mutually beneficial. You cannot just go at them with like, the players need this, darn it. Give it to the players. You're not going to get anything. I'm sorry, you're not. You cannot come at any game company and just say, this would be great for the players. It's got to be a mutually beneficial thing. How does this make the game better for us and the job for them? Love it or hate it, that's the way. This game and Rust do have similar update cadences. Hey, me and my wife playing Rust last night. Y'all more than welcome to come play with us. All right. That ended up becoming a long-winded conversation. Let me go back to my Alliance tournaments and see if there's anything that I can. I gotta wait for these to refresh again. Somebody's just hammering the refresh button. Bam, bam, bam. If you have comments, questions, feel free to jump and add them in. Again, we do have all the information that is available now for tournaments and the updates, so hopefully y'all are enjoying that. Actually playing with a big group after Thursday Wife. So Dinwit, I'm actually playing on a modded server with my wife that has AI teams. So it is PvP and PvE, but it has AI bot teams. We actually raided 2 AI bases last night, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a lot of fun. James, you can do that, or you can just wait like 40 seconds. So just wait at 40 seconds. You know what? Heck it. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to grind in front of y'all. Phrasing. I'm going to grind in front of y'all. Yeah, Din, shoot me a message and come try it out. Are you playing the Turtle song right now? Yes. This is the Peaceful Friends Tiberius song. I've got the, that's what they call STFC 2024 album playing in the background while we, you know, get our grinds on. What's the server name for us? Joseph, shoot me a message on Discord. It's called Bot World, but they actually have a Discord server and everything. Y'all are more than welcome to come play. And me and my wife have been playing every night. It's actually been really cool because my wife is, you know, gaming with me, and that's a lot of fun. A couple that games together doesn't go out and do stupid things together. Do stupid things digitally. Is there a Bon Jovi song? There's not. However, we are going to be making a new album here soon, and more information on that will drop. Because there are, you know, songs about individuals on the album. You know, key community members who are donating to me and my family, and those who are around a lot, and you know, people like Tibbs, other content creators. So it's a nice little fun album we made. Seems a bit faster refresh this time. I think a lot of that is perception, James. Not that I'm saying you're wrong. I just think a lot of that is, you know, we're impatient. I think a lot of us are naturally impatient people. We've grown up, at least I have grown up in an age where everything is pretty available at our fingertips via the internet and everything else. So we want it instant gratification. But it's kind of always been that way in terms of when this refresh has been working. But that doesn't mean it's quick enough. We want it even faster. Is it worth saving the Admiral event tickets for different choice or different officers in the Admiral recruit chest? They're going to put new ones in there. So they said they're going to put new ones in there. Kyle, do want to point out real quick that you can only hold, what is it, 6,000. Cannot hold more than 6,000. So bear that in mind. Like, you were limited to 6,000. If you sit on that, that means if you did any more tasks, you're not going to earn anymore. So what I've just been telling people, if you're a person who is going to finish it, like you're somebody who consistently finishes that every month, then just go ahead and get the free officer. Right now, if you're somebody like me who maybe gets 1,000 points a month, then yeah, just save them up. The songs are AI made, John. I don't know why everybody thinks I have money and can afford like real artists to come and make music. No, it's AI. Absolutely AI. Yeah, 100%. Rev cannot afford those things that you said. Yeah. No, I cannot afford instrumental tracks and then real artists. No, this is AI. Definitely AI. Remember what it was like to be in grade school, had the summer off, and the internet wasn't around yet? No, I honestly don't. Even when I was a kid, the internet existed. Now, when I was a kid, depending on the age, I got sent to like summer camps and stuff because, you know, my parents couldn't stay home. I had 2 working parents, stepfather and a mom. So I didn't have the internet all the time, but I did have the internet anytime I came home. Do it for you if you want. Nope, not what I want, John. It's not what I want. Appreciate you trying to help out, but you always want to help out in like complicated ways. Like, no, not at all. I'm going to use AI. I'm going to use the easy option. That sounds great. Pepperidge Farm remembers? Well, some of y'all probably remember those grand old days. I remember Star Trek Fleet Command has been a major part of my adulthood because when Star Trek Fleet Command started, I had just had my first child. Now I have 3. I have a child about to be 8 years old now. His entire life has been dad working with gaming, streaming on Twitch for War Thunder and Eve Echoes and Star Trek Fleet Command and making YouTube videos. And it's been a major part of my life. The internet has been a major part of my life. So, all right. Remember, actually, those were great days. We played outside and found things to do. Well, I'm sure the kids today say what they're doing is great things too. You know, as long as people are happy, as long as people are reading, reading is important. Which is why we built the charity library. Have I shown y'all the I don't want to get too into the weeds, but did I show y'all the charity library we built that y'all helped donate to? I don't remember if I showed it on YouTube yet or not. Y'all let me know. So, y'all let me know. I don't remember if I've sent it to y'all or not. If I have already, don't worry about it. You have too much free time? 3 kids? 3 kids is nothing, Erwin. I literally know people who have 5, 6 kids. I just think you folks over in Europe decided, family is stupid. I'm just going to go out and party till I'm 40 and then settle down with whoever's left. Yeah, I think it's a culture thing because where I live, everybody's got big families. Truthfully. I mean, it truly, and I'm not saying it in a negative way. It could just be a culture difference. Here, people got kids, man. Every family's got kids. Like, you're just not running into like people who are 35 and single with no children. You might find them being single, but they've got children. Samo says, how can you afford so many kids? Here's the thing, Samo. We're living in the Western culture. You are richer than everybody who's ever come before you. And even though, yes, bills are expensive, I get that. I don't understand that argument because people were having 15 kids in the 1700s when they were having to harvest their own wheat and make their own bread. How people can argue we can't afford it now, I don't understand. You make do and you make it happen. You find what's important in life. I'll let the money happen, right? I do my job and I focus on family. So I don't focus on the money. I focus on the family. So wasn't anything else to do? Yeah, there was no internet, right? Internet came along, birthright plummet. All right, back into the game, y'all. Star Trek Fleet Command comments, questions. Remember, this is a chest you save. This is a 10K free-to-play task. This one right here. So do not redeem this. Save it. That is a free-to-play 10K task. So if it rolls around, you want to be able to pull it, and that box has a cooldown. So be mindful of it. Can't do that. Oh, I'm already working on the Proto Matter one. How come it didn't give me my Proto Matter? I got like 500. Do not pull that Borg chest, though. You want to be able to have that ready. All right, so a couple of y'all did say that we need to see the library. So for those that don't know, there was a project that we were doing here in March. I do like to give back to charities, communities, etc. We do that every year. This year, what I wanted to do was build a neighborhood free library for kids to take books. And we have a couple in there for the adults too. There's like a Stephen King book and stuff in there. But here we go. It's right in the corner of my property, up against the tree. We've got a nice little reading bench. There we go. Built this for the community, free book, give a book, take a book type of a situation to really encourage reading and just give stuff like that out. And that's something that y'all help contribute to here in February and March. And a big thank you for those doing it. Really appreciate that. There you go. I think it looks dope. I think it looks great. Good old slice of Americana, right? That's freedom right there. Free books, freedom. Good stuff. Free books and freedom. Who doesn't like it? You can see your address? No, you can't. You cannot see my address. I'm double checking. No, you cannot see my address. Now, technically, you can see the charter number on the little library. Too small for a decent Bible? No, Erwin, I guess that box might look small because we Americans have got nice big flags to show our patriotism. But that's like I think it's 16 inches tall. Like the space inside is 16 inches. Unless you're walking around with a Grandmaster tomb, you know, like you're playing D&D in real life, it'll fit your book. It'll fit your book. All right. See, I need to go do more Borg, and somebody did not do their Swarm Sunday, or their Anomalous Phenomenon on Sunday. All right, let's go Amalgam, Territory. Oh, I gotta go mining again? No, I gotta go OPC hunting again. That's what I gotta do. Can I donate 50 Shades of Grey to the library? Nope, could not. I would not accept your book donation. I would not accept it. Hopefully your neighbors don't set it on fire. Where do y'all live? Where do y'all live? That is, you must be like in Seattle or Portland or something. That doesn't happen here. That's insane. Setting books on fire. We're crazy. Y'all are a bunch of goofy goobers. Y'all are a bunch of goofy goobers. All right, flame and flame. What we're really looking for is the one that gives me my proto matter, helps speed along that task, and then we're going to be doing a lot of Q trials together. So we'll use this as an opportunity to try to push up on my Q trials. I haven't done in quite some time. So we'll do this one, full pull it. That's going to give us, 1,200 of the proto matter we need. Now I'll get a little bit more mirror dust. All right, let's see. What else we got? Game questions, y'all. Bring it back around. I got to get y'all refocused. The 350 people are there. Most of them are here for game questions. Refocus, everybody. Refocus. Y'all are too ADD. Y'all got too many squirrels running across your screens. Refocus, chat. All right. Can't do that at the moment. That's fine. Mirror universe. We need to go and pull this. All right. We go re-pull this. Oh. My footrest was not working right. For my standing desk to help me have better posture. How many free-to-play primes came out with the new Grandmasters? 10. Sonata. 10. Pretty nice. 10 new free-to-play primes. For all you folks out there looking for ways to get bigger, better, stronger. 10 of them. Any general tips for an Ops 23, new and first time playing? First off, Mr. Dongo, welcome to the game. Here's my number one recommendation. Spend as much time as you can with me on my live streams and videos. Why? It's a very deep game. But I would say this. Don't get caught in FOMO, fear of missing out. Take your time to learn the game and enjoy it. Where you're at right now, the biggest things that you want to acquire in the next couple levels at level 25, you want to get your Valor, which you can get through Cosmic Cleanup and event stores, and you want to get your Meridian, which you can get through Cosmic Cleanup, and if your Alliance has the territory service active, you can get it through there. Those are the two biggest things, like on your next up-to-do radar. And your Valor is quite strong. In fact, my level 29 account, that is the best ship that I'm using at level 29 is my Valor. I've almost maxed it out. Super, super recommend and super valuable. So in terms of officers, Brett pulled out Pipe Moro Chen, which is a great thing to go after. So make sure you're doing your field trainings, which help teach you the big, the bigger points in the game, while also trying to give you some goodies and some good officers. So that'd be two primary things. Don't want to overload you with tips and tricks, but I'm here to answer any question that you have, help you out in any way that I can. All right, so we got one more place that we can bring in proto matter. We're going to bring these pulls in here, and then we will have to start grinding Q trials. You know what ops level you need to be to start seeing the Valor shard showing up in the event store? 35. Obviously, you need to, what? Valor, hold on, not Talios. That's going to be 24. 23 or 24 because I was pulling it early. 23 or 24. One thing I've noticed that is easier to get and max out ships and officers. Depends on the officers. For example, it's pretty quick to max out the original Federation, Klingon, Romulan crews. Pretty easy to max out the early Strange New World crew. So there are some that are easy, and then there are some that are very, very difficult. So some are easy, some are very, very difficult. I do need to go run more of these armadas as well, these entities, out of my static currencies, or my ability to pull static currencies. But I can pull here, which is good. It's Gives me more encrypted intelligence as well as more Seska shards. And that's nice because that's going to help me get more reputation. Even though I've already gotten past 15 billion with Klingon and Fed, I still need to do it with Romulan. So I'm going to save that currency up. That'll help. And of course, we have all of our upgrade stuff. Shows up at 24. Okay. Well, Mr. Drago, there's not an event store going on right now, so you wouldn't see it at the moment. They're talking about the big event stores that come at the end of each arc, and we don't currently have one of those going on. Don't forget, Bonus Refinery, good reminder, Brigadier Jones. Good reminder. Everybody in chat, make sure you do that. Still useful to upgrade officers as Billups and Ransom? Absolutely. If you're into PvP, those adjacents, those additions that got put into the strike teams are, some of the strongest pieces of strike team. So 100% absolutely worth going after. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, we almost got Seska. 10 more till we take her to another tier. Very, very nice. All right. We do need to get more of these. And sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure I get all my pulls. I don't want to forget them. Oh, we got the Chrono Deflector. I don't really need that, but it's available now. I can claim the Janeway's Pocket Watch shards. I guess I did just go up to Special Agent. I didn't even notice that yet. I just went to Special Agent. Rev's a Special Agent, man. Sorry. All right. So I've got plenty of the charged. I'm going to turn those in real quick, get those favors. Chrono Deflector is great. So the Chrono Deflector is good. Here's why I don't say it's great. Because I don't need it. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm saying Rev doesn't need it. Rev does not struggle over entities at all. Not in the slightest. Now, because I've got the currency, I'll go ahead and grab it. But Rev don't need it. Rev don't need it. There we go. I got it for you. Rev don't need it. So, Rev's good to go. All right, we're going to do Apex Barrier and PvE. Oh, sorry, we're doing this one right here. This is for the base ISO defense verse, Krenim. Get that. Great for damage SLBs? Sure, but again, Rev don't need it, right? Rev don't bother with those. But again, it is good to have. I won't deny that. And if you're out there needing it, go for it. Quantum signal interception, that's this one right here, decreasing negative FKR rep. Again, I'm just getting this because I have the currency. I don't really need the temporal signal boosting. It's fine. But 18,000 is a bit of a price tag on it. A bit of a price tag. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, we do need to pull our syndicates. Do people should get in the habit of collecting their keys every day? I agree that that is very useful. Now, I will also acknowledge that I typically only do it when the event is rolling out, but it is good. Oh, I sneezed. All right, so with our Chrono Deflector, is it going to let me? Oh, yeah, this one doesn't have a cooldown, does it? Yeah, that one doesn't have a cooldown. Pull it one more time just to make sure. Yeah, we're good. We got it now. That one doesn't have a cooldown. So I can now pull it up and show y'all what it is. Here's the Chrono Deflector. What does it do? Great that you asked. So increase your Apex Barrier at the start of battle when fighting hostiles or invading entities for 3 rounds. Increase your critical hit chance. Critical damage at the start of battle when fighting armadas or invading entities for 3 rounds. And increases your shield repair. Start of battle when fighting hostiles, armada, or invading entities for 3 rounds. And these are, of course, the max stats. So it is solid. I don't need it for anything that I do, but it is solid. And if you have a ship that you do a lot of PvE with, or if you specifically want to put it on your relativity for entities or whatever, you can. It is a solid addition, and if you can get it for free, like I just did, absolutely no reason to not do it. So, at what level does the Revenant go to 3rd tier stage? 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, 15. Pretty good for solo waves. Again, not denying that Ice Shield. Here's why Rev says he doesn't need it. Because the way that Rev plays, remember, I play a little bit slower. Like, I don't rush up ops. I play the level, and I beat the level, as it were. When content comes out, Rev did not struggle with solo waves. I don't struggle with entities. I'm not one of those people where, at level 56, I had to hit the 56 entities and couldn't do it. Because all my research was ready. My ships are ready. My officers are ready. Because I take my time. Could I be in the upper 60s by now on this account? Absolutely. All the other CCs who started when I did are. Right, DJ's up there, Samo's up there now, right? You've got Lube who's up there. I could definitely be up there, but I play slower so that I don't experience those pain points. So those things are nice. I talked about this on Twitch. These are nice additions to get. But if you are playing a more completionist, not I don't like to use that word, a anti-FOMO route, you're probably not going to need a lot of these doodads that comes out to overcome struggles. Yeah, Tibbs is up there. And while I do have G6 accounts that I play on, right, because I do want to experience that level of the game and everything to have an understanding when I'm giving out advice, I play a style that is a little bit almost laid back. So almost laid back. All right, so we got all that in. Nice, nice, and nice. Then in one more ops level on this account, we'll be maxing out that Talios. All right, so we are now at that point where we got to go and grind. We got to do those Q trials. We got to get, oh, we didn't actually finish our, I said that we actually got to go finish. Let's do this first. We got to go finish pulling our factions. I did not do X-Borg, which has a proto-matter pull in it. So that can help, expedite your grind for completing this free-to-play 10K task. I can start construction on either Enterprise or a Voyager. Which one should I start building first? USS Enterprise. Yes. The USS Enterprise. All right, so let's get all these in. I am Platinum 1 now. Had a good run. Over the past 2 weeks with public squads, Rev is 28-6. I'm very proud of that. And that's only playing with randoms on the internet and playing with people in chat. That's been a lot of fun. That's been really cool. 28-6. 28-6. All right. For negative rep reduction, if you've maxed out X-Borg attrition research, is the DTI favor on it meaningless? No, Joanne, because it does not work in a additive and subtractive way. It works in an efficiency way. So if you got 100%, that is not meaning you get 0 rep loss when you hit a hostile. So just like we showed y'all with that efficiency curve system, how efficiency math works, same thing. So more is still better. Is the Discovery still good? It's still good. I mean, you kind of have other ships now, like the Gorn Eviscerator, that are the higher level taxis. But now that you can access the new primes for the Disco, which gives it a lot more warp range free to play, I think you're going to see more people using the Disco again. But for a while, the Disco, I don't use the word died out, but since most people couldn't take it to the higher levels, they just stopped using it. I think now people are going to start using it again. So I got to go do more solo waves. All right, tonight, for those who come to my Twitch channel, which, by the way, all of y'all are welcome, and I do hope y'all stop on by. Y'all come to Twitch tonight. 2 things y'all need to make sure I do: solo waves and Crenum entities. Please do not let me forget. I've got to do both of those because I need those currencies. Because, again, talk about free-to-play things I do want to get. Unimatrix shielding. Absolutely want that free-to-play. So I need to get more currencies. Just like I need to actually be able to unlock the ship parts converter and stuff like that. So please remind me, if y'all do not mind, tonight on Twitch, those 2 things are important. And it's very easy for my squirrel American brain to get distracted. It happens. It happened before. It will happen again. Will happen again. I mean, event store cycles are enough to get USS Enterprise. Honestly, Traumato, I don't actually understand the question because that's not the primary place you would want to go after that anyway. So, I mean, you can get more from that. We never recommend getting faction ships from an event store, ever, because the conversion rate, the cost is just really, really high. Away team store, faction store. Away team store, faction store. Kana, I'm not going to bother answering that, so don't waste your time asking that question. If you become somebody who asks questions like that, you're going to start getting your questions never answered because I'm just going to learn to skip over your name. I'm not going to give away stuff from an NDA. You know that. I've been very clear with that. We don't do hints here. We do not tell you what's coming. If you become the person who asks that all the time, you start getting ignored. Your daily push rep. Do you daily push rep and you can buy it from the store? Yes, you can do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I'm good there, good there. Let's go back to X-Borg, which is where we were doing the entire time, and grab these. All right, let's see what other questions that we're missing. For Mirror Space, can I get the disco in there and summon a ship to that system, or is that disabled? You cannot do that, John. No. You cannot. You cannot. Orville Part 42, there you go. X, absolutely. Have they announced the dates for the next round of incursions? No. They have not. They have not, no. You don't do hints anymore? Kinda, I've not done hints in years. I've not done that in years. I don't like it. People, for the most part, don't like it. I don't do that. You can confirm if the TARDIS is coming now. TARDIS is already here. You didn't know it. You weren't paying attention. The TARDIS is already here. It's already here. Yeah, Incursions is going to be next week. The date they have not released, but it is coming. It happens between every arc now. Keep your eye out for it. Want a 6-star space open? 61 and above, Tarkus. 61 and above. All right, so we got that. Let's pop out now, and we're going to swap officers around. We're going to do Pipe Monroe Chin, and we're going to... Not having below deck slots is a real drag. That's my only negative here. Not enough below deck spots. Honestly tempted to do the cube. You know what? Let's cube it. Let's cube it. I'm going to cube it because I have more below deck slots with the cube. I can get all those, and I'm going to spend some of those very precious fusion rods. Unlock very precious fusion rods. I'm going to put the Metron Cascade on the cube. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Now, I'm still going to be doing max fortification and Cerritos boosting because we're going to try to do a quick farm. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Do I have PMC saved? I don't think I do. I got that, which is close. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Apologies. I do apologize for that. And I get the music back going. All right, cool. We're all caught up. Think they missed the point with these Alliance tournaments? Shouldn't they have added SOB and AOB to add the credits in Alliance Store instead of pointless spending SMSs? I personally don't really have any complaints. I don't have any issues. They did add more things that are based around spending, but I don't feel like they did it in a arm-twisting way. Like, I personally give them credit for it. Now, will I acknowledge I was worried about it? Yeah, watch yesterday's video. You can clearly see I was worried about that. But I feel like they did it in a good way. Now, if anybody disagrees, feel free to chime in. But they added in, clearly the Grandmaster version is meant to be an incentive to spend, right? And I'm not trying to hide that. But they did it in a way that doesn't feel forced. And you're rewarded for doing it, but you're also getting good things if you did it. Like, for example, the day one gift that we collected. I've already collected it, but it's fantastic. You know, full pull of Enterprise data, 25 shards of TOS Spock. You got some Kirk. You got some, you got some Riker. You got some Card. That's a fantastic gimme. Then 10 primes added in to the Alliance Tournament store. Cooldown removed for Kashar Ferengi Whip to try to help y'all get them if you want them. Text 31 skin added, which a lot of people have been asking for. I mean, they did it in the right way. To where now, you know what? If you're out there and you're a spender, for the sake of supporting the Overlords, look at Rev Schilling. Go ahead and drop you some money. Do your 5 SMSs. Get your PvP officers. Dominate the world. Yeah. Yeah. Rev's okay with you spending now. Because they did it the right way. They gave things out to everybody and said, hey, we're making things better, but if you really want to go above and beyond, spin events. Ain't problem that. Love it. Love it. The only thing I would have wanted was this and I said this in yesterday's video. I wanted this to have a coinciding SMS. I want that. And what I mean by a coinciding SMS, an SMS that rewards me based on completing tasks. That's what I would have wanted. That's the only main thing that I personally would be like, I want to change this. I want an SMS that allows me to contribute. So I get rewards for doing more. That's the only thing I would add. And maybe that's just me being needy and greedy. All right, let me get Cerritos out and our Titan. Get this, our Doritos Taco. All right, y'all ready? We're going to do some big ones. See how much we need first. How many Q trials am I going to have to hit? Quite a bit. Still need, oh gosh. Still need 41,000. Oh my Lanta. But remember, this is why we upgrade our Q of court building so that we can farm this. I've got it at 57. As high as I can take it. They mentioned that the RLB is actually only for the server, which I kind of like. Letting you see how you stack against other alliances. Yeah, it is not how I interpreted it as being when it was announced. So, yeah, it's I just would have wanted an SMS. SMS. I like SMS. I'm a needy boy. All right, so we're coming here, and let's see. Big old boy. I don't know how well I'll do against it, but might as well try. You don't know until you try. You don't know until... Hello? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Trying to stay in our league, not relegated, is stressful, and it's a shame they are doing these so close together. Well, the only thing I can say, Luna, is that everybody has the same struggle you do in that they're so close together. So everybody's in the same boat. But I do agree with you. I don't like them being so close together either. I mentioned that earlier in the stream. I, too, find that to be a bit of an annoyance. All right. And for the heck of it, because I don't honestly know how I'm going to do here, we're going to fist it. We're going to fist it. All right. How did we do? Down goes Frazier. Love it. Oh, we actually did quite well. All right, we're going to try to spam this as quickly as possible. How far can we go? Oh, an easy one? Yeah, give me that easy swarm. Oh, no. The only problem there is I got to get there fast enough. Oh, man, I got to get there fast enough. Are they going to go back to once a month? They have not said. There's nothing consistent right now, David. There's nothing consistent right now. I think we'd have alliance tournaments more frequently than Cerberus invasions. I did not win. I thought it would be the opposite way. I thought that'd be the other way around. This is a PvP crew. I don't even know if I'm going to win. It's a big ship, though. Hopefully win just by being a big ship. Come on. Just take it down for me. Thank you. Thank you. All right, claim. 27? Woo! Doggy. All right. We are not going to get there before the fist runs out. So to make up for my fist running out, I'm going to activate an exo comp. It's not as good as the fist, but it's something. We'll see how we do against this one. Let's see. Not sure if that makes this the darkest timeline or not. I don't know. I don't know. You have FC Janeway equipped? I do. Right? Oh, no, I took her down because I was doing Spock. Darn, that might have helped. That might have helped. I forgot I took Janeway down because I was upgrading. That would have helped. Oh, well. Now I have to wait for the timer to reset, and then we'll just go farm the other ones. I'll farm the other ones. You said they were looking at removing or negating negative rep loss from Marines. Any more info on this? No, Connor, that was like a week ago. Of course there's no updated information. If you want updated information for something that comes from like a Q&A, you don't have to ask again in like 3 months. Yeah, there's definitely not anything I can tell you a week later. They don't work at that pace. They don't work at that pace. Killing others count? There was a couple of Q trials showing up in that other system. Yeah. All right, let's see. New fisting can hurt the hostile so much? It can. Yeah. That's not the one I wanted, but this one. Yeah, that's a nice hit. That's a nice hit. Yeah, can't beat that with a stick. A while ago they were looking at moving. They are. I mean, they've heard the argument. Is anything happening currently? No. That doesn't mean it won't. But I got no updates on it. First, they have to form a committee to investigate and collect data, then have multiple meetings analyzing the data, and then figure out if any changes can should be made. That is exactly how it happens. That is exactly how it happens. There has to be a lot of discussion and work for them to consider something. It's not as simple. And I know as a player, y'all see it as simple, and I get why, because I'm a player too. Of like, oh, just change it. Nope, not how it works. That's why anytime I talk about what needs to happen, you know, when talking to overlords and like how you can get change, you have to keep in mind that man hours matter. And it's not just a, oh, well, this person's in charge of this, they're going to make it happen. No, you've got to get it approved by management. You've got to have meetings about it. They actually have to have data to, you know, quantify why this should be done. You can't just say, hey, we're going to arbitrarily change this. It's a whole thing. Even something you would consider small and irrelevant has to go through a process to get implemented. That's not a unique to Scopely thing. That's every game company. So, yeah, absolutely. Definitely something keep in mind when you're thinking, hey, how come we suggested this and they said it's a good idea and then it hasn't happened yet? That's why. That's a process. And then some point in that process, it can also just fall apart. Something happens, you know, alliance tournaments, base plans. Well, we're no longer worried about that. We got to go fix alliance tournaments, and then it gets forgotten about. Hence why, you know, Rev's always talking about you need to constantly remind them and poke them about it. You have to keep on letting them know this is an important topic. You got to always hammer it. Always hammer it. So if you are wanting, you know, that negative rep thing, you have to always hammer it. Be talking about it. Be mentioning it up. If you're a VIP, tell your CMs. If you're in the official Discord, talk about it. If you're in the official Reddit, post about it. Right? It has to be something that they're reminded of, or it's easy for it to fall to the wayside. Good to see you as well, EM. Are you a raider or just a pirate? I'm a pirate. I love raiding. However, I don't love raiding where it currently is. Raiding to me right now is pretty boring because I cannot get amounts that really matter. I do love raiding and incursion, but that's more because I enjoy the fighting over the raid, and it's a lot of fun. So during incursions, yeah, I love raiding. But the last time I went raiding on this account, not during incursions, was some point last year. Some point last year. You think they'll ever fix the reroll system? Define fixing it. You're going to need to be specific about what you mean. Define fixing. You think they're happy where arenas are these days? No. I don't think that they're terribly unhappy, but I don't think they're happy. If that makes sense. Like, I don't think they look at arenas and think it's a failure because, well, if anybody says arenas is a failure, they're just being a hater, which is fine. Dislike something, but it's not accurate. But is it where they want it to be? No. I think both of those things are true. Both of those things are true. It's not where they currently want it to be, but it's also not a failure. Blank task until you restart. Wait 40 seconds, Simon. It should refresh 30 to 40 seconds if you just stare at the screen. You just do this all day. It should refresh. Or you can reboot. It'll do it as well. Our participation percentage. The participation percentage over the past 3 weeks. I don't know if Chrono's still here. You can shoot it to me instead of me going and hunting it down. Chrono, you still here? By chance? Chrono, you still here? He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but I can go try to hunt it down if I have to. I don't see it really quickly available. Hey, Chrono, can you shoot me the arena activity percentages over the past 3 weeks with pubs? Oh, you're fixing tournament stuff? Well, that's probably important. Well, short answer, without giving you numbers, and if he sends them, then he sends them. We have seen an uptick in participation and a significant uptick in positive feedback about arenas. However, it is not in terms of participation where it was when arenas started. And arenas definitely took a real sharp downtick after months of bugs and problems. And that's not recovered yet. You still have a healthy portion of players doing it on Mondays. In fact, it's quite active on Mondays, especially in the US and EU. APAC being a little bit more difficult, but they also have a lot less players. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all and say it's the most active event currently going. When it started, it was arguably the most actively participated event that was going on in any given time. There's just that many, like the percentage of people doing it was that high compared to other events. Currently, not necessarily the case, but it still has good activity rates. And I think they're hoping that more participation will come with the positive feedback that's happening with things like public arenas. But I just really want to stress, I don't think it's a perfect set. I think it still needs work. I still think there's things that need to be done. So, you made it to Platinum 1? Very nice. I, too, have made it to Platinum 1. All right, I do have a launch here. All right, they're running one here. All right, so I'm going to set course for that, but I need to run. I can launch it. I'm going to let them know I can launch a rare one. Use a rare one so I can get that double chest pull. It was such a mess at the start, and the parries are rough. I just haven't bothered with the arenas at all. Just not my jam, and I'm fully adopted, not following FOMO. Yeah, there you go, Kia. And you know, I absolutely embrace that. Ignore the FOMO. Now, we get into this discussion a lot, right? And not everybody likes to hear it. At this point, keep in mind that a lot has changed with matchmaking since it started. They've changed how ops are weighted in terms of like how much value is in rank versus operations. They have now limited the operations levels. It went from 7 down to 4. And now you have public matches, which has drastically shifted scoring. What I mean by that is, you know, before you were very limited who you could participate with. Now that it's spread out more, you've seen the field even. I'm acknowledging I'm about to give you a number out my rear end. 80% of matches that are lost now, I'm pulling out a number out of my butt. I'm acknowledging that, but I'm speaking from experience, and there are other people here. They can chime in. Samo's here. She's a content creator. She talks to people. Tibbs, he talks to people. 80% of matches that are lost currently are lost because of skill, not because of like, I was bludgeoned to death and we couldn't do anything, right? There aren't really many matches left that are just unstoppable ops breaking matches. Right? There's a lot of matches that are lost that people just need to get better at PvP. Need to spend more time investing in PvP, right? Whether that be officers, FTs that are now available free to play, etc. There's a skill issue, but matchmaking for the most part is extremely good compared to what it was week 1. If we're comparing it to week 1, very good. There's a massive 49s versus 53s. See, Razor, that's a great example. 49s beat 53s all the time. If you show me a 49 versus 53, that is not a bad match. That is a great match. And we have so many examples of free-to-play 49s winning those matches. Again, Dave, and you brought it up, so I'm using you as an example. This is what we're talking about. It is a skill issue. Skill. Knowing how to do arenas, knowing the effective tactics, and working on getting the items needed to be successful. It is not an ops issue. It is a skill issue. 49s are blasting 53s all the time. Islands are taking down Vorches like candy, and vice versa, right? That is not a skill issue. I'm sorry, that is not an ops issue. That's a skill issue. Don't the 53s have to be bad? No, they don't. Again, here is the biggest thing with arenas. Everybody gets stuck on power. Power is not the answer, right? Again, I like to use myself, not because it's what I'm familiar with, but because y'all can see it happen. In the past 2 weeks, using only public matches, I have beaten 4 G4 teams without having a G4 player. Just this past Monday, I beat 2 level 64s. They had Minervas, Akiras, Big Cubes. We won. Skill matters. Rim riding, Armada speed capping, using loot crews, Mantis debuffing, Cerritos boosting. All these things matter. Running with skill matters. And you have to have the skill. Now, that doesn't mean that you have all the things available. Maybe you need to work on your officer sourcing. Well, that's what the Section 31 store has. Maybe you need to work on getting more researches. ISO is real big. The biggest thing I notice is that everybody skimps on ISO. There's so many people that I pair up with that can be 4 levels higher than me that I have better ISO research. I don't have a single ISO prime, not a single one. Everything I have ISO is free to play, whether it be an artifact or like the mirror researches. Everything I've got is free to play, right? It's a skill thing. People have got to take the time to learn what works. Now, if you are level 60 and you get somehow paired with a 70, yeah, I'm going to agree with you. That matchmaking is borked. But my argument was the majority of losses now are not because of ops level. It's because of skill. And you can absolutely win them. Right? That's my point. I'm not saying that there aren't things that happen that are just like, well, that's just awful. Those still happen. What I'm saying is the majority of those matches are no longer about ops. You can absolutely win. In fact, I beat John. Not that I'm trying to be mean to John, but John's here. John is a Sigma player. I beat John. And I did not have a Sigma player with me. It was only 60s and below to beat John. Right? So a lot of it is learning these tactics. The biggest thing that people forget is scoring, which is, yes, the PvP scores, but the big thing is the armadas. Little things I will see most alliances not doing. For example, if you launch the armada, and this works in regular armadas like this right here. So if you put a ship in the armada, like I do here, and then you pull it out, you can have it running around the map. As long as you get back in time before it starts, even if it's within the 10 seconds, it will count, right? Little tricks like that. You don't just have to sit in the armada and pray you don't get touched. Activate it. See how the purple just happened? That means it's registered, and then run around. Play cat and mouse. That's just one example of things. All this can be done. It's all about skill. 7 says losses are because of cash. 100% wrong. In gold rank, you often can't compete with max PPFT and CT. You're not running into that. You're not. Especially not in gold. Does it happen? Sure. But do I have Tantalus Field? Nope. Do I have Quantum Slipstream? Nope. Do I beat people with them? Yep. And I'm in Platinum 1. There are level 40s in Platinum. And I promise you level 40s in Platinum are not rocking around maxed FTs and CTs. That's the biggest fight I have at the moment. The biggest fight I have is getting people to understand that you've been fed a talking point, which is PvP is nothing but money, and now everybody's just regurgitating it. There's not a lot of truth to it in arenas. There is some truth depending on specific matches. But for example, if you're going 0-10, that's not because of money. That's skill. Specified Op 66, 7. Literally just had a Op 66 team. It was a 66, 65, and 62 beat an Op 70 team. JB, who is the guy that we interviewed as the free-to-play, he's had $40 on his account. The free-to-play guy, who's at level 66 now, had a team of 70s compliment them about how good they are. Again, most of these matches are not money. That is a talking point that is just getting regurgitated, but it has no truth behind it. Also, thank you, Chrono. Thank you, Chrono. All right, so this past week's arena saw a slight increase, a few hundred players from last week. So we are seeing it to where it was a month ago. We have about 3,000 more people playing arenas now than a month ago. Depends on the week. Anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 more people playing than a month ago. So you've definitely seen an increase in players, but it's definitely not where it was, right? Definitely not where it was. But again, a lot of this arena stuff is not me trying to shame anybody. It's you've got to take the time to learn what works, why things work, how. It's a lot of these matches aren't just about big ship versus big ship. It's about skill and finding what works. Are you considering making an arena tips video for 2025, or is your last one still valid? My last one's still valid. I try not to double down on my content if I can avoid it, because I don't want to just feed y'all regurgitated stuff. I mean, those tips are still valid. Now, there are things that we can add. Like, there are other things that are now free to play. So, for example, Devin talked about CTs. Well, the best PvP CTs in the game are 100% free to play now. Your first one will be right here. Buchanan. That's the epic one. 100% free to play. In fact, many of you have full pulled it. Second one is a rare called Unimatrix Shielding. Unimatrix Shielding, you can get free to play right now. Start working on it. Cat's bugging me. I can't remember where everything's at. Not in here. It is right here, Section 31. Unimatrix Shielding. Do your solo wave. So a PvE mechanic, giving you arguably the second best PvP FT or CT. They're free to play. Okay, it's just taking the time to figure out what works and not just going, oh, I lost. Clearly they paid for things. No, maybe somebody grounded out. Y'all got to remember that I've been doing PvP for years. Like, I didn't just happen to have the officers. I didn't happen to have Carol, Artiguard War, Florica. I didn't happen to have all these things. I've been taking years to do every PvP research that comes out, to the point that many of you who have followed a long time know what researches I specifically skip. Station defense. Didn't bother with it at all. Completely ignored station defense. Put all that time and resources into PvP stuff. So if you're a player who's PvE and you want to have more success, you'd have to shift your focus to getting some of those things, which is okay. That listed under a skill issue, not a paid issue. There's not like, just this fancy insta-win payment option out there. Max Tantalus has no strategy to go against it. Tell that to all the Max Tants that lose. Is Max Tantalus very good? Yes. But again, too many people are getting stuck on, that's a big ship, I can't beat it. You don't have to beat the big ship. You have to beat the team, right? Example. We're just talking shop, and y'all can see me use these tactics all the time in my arena. Let's say there is a big there. That big has 2 ships. 2 ships cannot keep up with 6 ships. So if you work well as a team and you eliminate their other 4, and then y'all are just running around the map and you're doing things like tagging the armada, running around, getting in the armada, you can win. Right? You can't just see, oh, big ship, I've got no chance. That's a skill issue. That's not a paid issue. Again, I have no tan field. I have no QSS. And yet I beat these teams. I'm not saying I beat them all the time. I said I'm 28-6. I didn't say I was, was at 34-0. But you can do it. Got to work at it. Got to work at it. The impulse speed cap helps a lot to avoid them. In a lot of ways it helps. In a lot of ways it hurts. Right? Like, I still hate the speed cap. But if you're going against level 70s, it helps you, because now you have identical speeds, right? So yes, technically you're not faster than them, but if level 70s and 60s and stuff like that, they can have impulse, 10,000. Not really, but you know what I mean, right? You cannot compare with the researches that they'll have available. So that cap can work to your advantage in certain situations. I've watched your prep videos for up to 39. Any guidance with a target first going into 40 and the low 40s? For me, solo armadas are a big one. And your Zindi loop. Then you have mirror, but mirror is not as big. Like, you want to do mirror. Really, NSCA elevates the mirror. So. Oh, we got one down here. Didn't see it. They're going to speed that one. You would love a separate version of Arena, 1 versus 1. I would also love 1v1. I would love free-for-all. I'm okay with 3v3. I'd love it to be 5v5 again. I would love multiple versions. Absolutely. So, Parker says, in public arenas, I notice a whole bunch of apathy. If losing after 30 seconds, they stop working and vanish. Now, I don't run into that all the time, but I do. And it always makes me sad when I run into that, because I can see, when that first 30 seconds, I can see people's strategy and ships. For example, I've said this before. If I am in a PvP arena, and I actually said this on stream the other night, let's just say there's a level 64, right? If the level 64, the first ship that comes into the system is like an Akira, I automatically know we're winning. I know we're winning. And you might go, Rev, how the heck can you know that? Well, number one, if their lead ship is an Akira, it's a safe bet to assume they are not very good at PvP. Because any level 64 who does PvP a lot knows that is a bad PvP ship. Your best PvP ship at level 64 is still your Rotaran, your Cube, your Enterprise D. If the first thing I see is a Minerva, Akira, or Negvar, I know we got it, because I know we're facing somebody who is not a great PvP player, at least yet. And they're relying on power. I'm gonna need you to let me click this system. Oh my Lanta. Right? Again, I'm not trying to shame anybody in particular there. You not gonna let or reboot. Yay, stable game. Yay, stable game. Reboot. But, and it's not a guarantee, but it's usually a good sign that I'm gonna be able to beat that person. I'm gonna be able to beat their team. Unless the Akira has a full loot crew. That's true. If they come out, I've yet to see that. I understand it happens. But if I see that happening, sure. If they come out and they're using the Akira as a big loot item, that actually would make sense. Because you're not going to be able to destroy their loot ship. But I don't see that. That's a good tactic, though. If you're out there, you really want to throw Rev off, run into me, bring out your Akira with the loot crew, and I'm going to get real cocky and confident, and then you shame me by being better with skill. Do that. Promote Coke or start working on my Mayflower? Great question, Mr. Drago. What is your, do you use the Kirk Spot crew a lot? If the answer is yes, then yes. If the answer is no, then I would dump into the Mayflower if you so choose. But I would also say this. I really would use your faction credits to try to do those officer pulls in the faction store, because you want to max those officers out. And what you get when you max them out, you have maximum number of shards. You don't have to actually upgrade them all the way. You have maximum number of shards, then here's what you do. Transporter patterns. Transporter patterns are a fantastic mechanic for a low-level player. I got them in the 20s. That lets you pick what officers that you want. For example, you don't have Pike yet. This Pike right here. This Pike, well, this helps you get that Pike, right? These can be accessed early on via maxing out some of those early officers. Pure scope of logic, the G6 ships suck. Well, they made G6 ships to be good against G6. Like if an Akira fights a Negvar or an Akira fights a Titan, etc., it's pretty even. But I'll give you the basic rundown of why early G6 ships are not good in PvP. Because they purposely made the firing patterns of all G6 ships stretched out, where you don't have round one 8 big old shots punching you in the face, right? So they stretched them out because they wanted the fights to last longer. One of the biggest problems in PvP a few years ago was that fights were done in 2 or 3 rounds, right? Some fights were done in 1 round. That was a big issue. This was back when the Carol, Freeman, Lorca, Honor Guard, Worf meta was tops, and fights were done in 1-2 rounds. And PvP was at its lowest point then. That is no longer the case. You have more parity with crewing. You have more parity with research FTCTs. But as that was happening, they were designing ships. So they stretched that out. But here's the thing. Because you didn't go back and like take the G5 epics and change their firing pattern, G5 epics still have really hard hitting firing patterns. The G5 epics are generally going to dominate the G6 uncommon unless that uncommon has been taken very high. But I've seen tier 9 and tier 10 G6 uncommons get absolutely floor wiped by a maxed Enterprise D or a Rotaran. A lot of it comes down to the firing pattern. G6 versus G6, not really an issue, right? But those higher ones, definitely an issue. Hey, this is something you can prepare for. If you're going to be good in PvP, it's good to know this. All ships suck on PvP in early tier. 6-star is 18, so early have more tiers. Well, it's not just that, Paula. Like, that's too simplistic of a view, because yes, you could have a high tier, but I can also pull screenshots of tier 12 and tier 14, etc. High tier G6 uncommons losing. The biggest thing is the firing pattern. And how about I just put those on the screen so we can see them? It's not just Rev saying this is how it is. Let me show you some of what I'm talking about. I gotta make sure I get in these armadas. So let's do the Rotaran, because I love the Rotaran. I don't know how I am about Klingon shit. And then let's do an Akira. Hold on, I'm gonna get it on the screen just a second. All right. Play capture. Here we go. All right, so here's your Akira. 2-2. Now keep in mind, these are not very strong shots, but 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. All right, so let's just do the first 3 rounds. What was that? 14 shots? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Bertaran. Big chunks, big guns firing a lot, big kinetic, heavy, punch you in the mouth torpedoes. These hit really hard. So you have the same idea with the 2-2, but you've got big, massive pew-pews coming in the form of massive kinetic weapons. Now you do have a round skip. But again, these punch and hurt bad. Lots of damage. And this isn't counting if you have, say, officers that magnify the number of shots, right? We're just talking about just pure numbers game. You are out shooting your opponent. And the DPR differences are not that great. Then you add in other things like FTs, CTs, officers, artifacts, all these other things that exist. The fact that you have more shots is incredibly important. Remember how we talk about the best way to add, punch to your ships right now is ISO Cascade? Well, imagine if you had 6 more shots in the first 3 rounds to your opponent, how much more that ISO Cascade magnification matters, because you're multiplying 6 more times, right? So the firing patterns are the biggest bane of the G6 existence, even at higher tiers. Now, their stats can get really, really high, which can help them combat that to an extent. But that's why the primary PvP ships for level 60 through about 66 are the G5 epics. Show my picture. John, will you stop? No. Please. I'm fine. I don't need your help, John. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Don't need your help. I got it. Thank you. Chrono. Oh, nice little graph. Thank you, Chrono. Graphs are pretty. Graphs are pretty. Okay, John, but like if I didn't use it 20 minutes ago, I'm not going to use it now. High tier Tribune proves that point really well. It can decimate early G5. It can. And again, people forget about that. People forget about, there's the graph for those curious on the arena numbers. You can see downshift and now starting to perk back up. All right, so do we have another one here? I don't think so. I'm gonna go launch this one here. But crap, just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, Tribute. The whole thing with G5, G4 epics was never that they were bad, right? The G4 epics were always strong. It was the cost, right? Just it didn't justify spending 1 million faction credits when you could just get a 53. Well, now you can get that relatively cheap. Not only can you lower the cost, you can lower the cost of your G4, G5, G6 ships with a favor, but now you also get faction credits out the wazoo. If you're out there and you're grinding in Mirror even a couple times a week, you're not going to struggle with faction credits. Now, if you don't do that, you will still struggle. But if you are doing that, you'll probably be A-okay and fine. Go ahead and launch this rare. We'll get these tournaments. Okay, John, you know I love you. Just don't keep beating the dead horse if I didn't use it before. Can they do a tournament store? What they do to Bajoran when you unlock stuff, it drops out? Yes, that would be nice. Oh, and thank you, Domo, for reminding me of TC. Thank you for reminding me. Let me go do that. Could the G6 epics be like the G5 ones? Explain what you mean, Erwin. And somebody asked, how are the G6 rares at PvP? The G6 rares still suffer from the we don't have great firing pattern stuff, but they make up for it with the we're really big and we're really strong. So as you can see, firing patterns on really all G6 ships are the same, right? There's not a ton of change in G6 ships firing patterns. But even though it says the same firing pattern, the difference between this and the uncommon is this thing is significantly stronger. Just like pure stats are much higher, right? So firing pattern, sure, not any better, but it's punching significantly harder. It has way more hull health, way more shields. So it becomes better just by brute force, right? Which again, I think is good. Thank you for the reminder on TC because I need those points. I need those points. Pop my ships out for cheap things that can be repaired because I know we're at war. What are the favorites to lower the cost of ships? Great question, Joseph, and I'll show you. Go into your faction right here. I'm assuming many of you have picked these up, but those are in the Terran Empire store. And they're the innovative engineering. So you can see I picked up the G5 one already. But there is a G3, G4, G5, and G6 innovative engineering. These will lower the cost of the blueprints for those tier ships. TC starts in 2 minutes. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Please remind us when they added in Alliance tournaments. Sure thing. Happy to help. Happy to help. All right, so come up here. It'll be basically the entire top row. I got to go finish doing that. Right here. So Prime Valor is a real big one. Bring you Whip is here for the moment. It's only during the Grandmaster section. And the Kashara has no cooldown. You still have to be in Masters League. You also have the Section 31 Disco skin. You have Mirror Picard, Mirror Kira, Jayla shards for those who just want to collect Jayla. That's what got added in. That's what got added in. It lost at the Rotarn vs. G6 Uncommon Facts. Looking ahead, I wonder if, by example, the Crenshaw will have some advantage. The Crenshaw is the best PvP ship in G6 right now. Let's see if I've got a... Now, John, I don't think you have a Crenshaw. Yeah, you don't have a Crenshaw yet. You're not there yet. But I might have one I can show on the screen. Nemesis, do you have one in our talks? All right. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Open. Now, this is still, you know, Enterprise and stuff. I'm just going to show you Crenshaw being big bad and being big good. It's just a singular example I pulled out of a Crenshaw being awesome. Now, this is a tier 11 Enterprise E, a tier 13 Rotarn. But most people would, again, you don't see the FTs and CTs, just go ahead and assume FTs and CTs are pretty much the same, right? We're talking about 2 level 70s. Crenshaw dog walk. Now, I've helped Nemesis on trying to fight this player. Crenshaws are really tough. Crenshaws punch really hard, right? Especially if you have things like the QSS on it. Really tough to beat Crenshaws. But just a visual example of how good they are. This is me helping him. Again, pulling out the good one because Nemesis is here. Crenshaws are really good. Now, hold on. Let me show the winning version. Hold on. Give me a second. That was after I helped Nemesis. I had to do the good one first. Do the good one first. If I did the bad one first, Nemesis would get mad at me. Nemesis would get mad at me. All right, here we go. This is before I helped rearrange some of the things that Nemesis was doing. Crenshaw. Big smack. Big smack. With the worst crew. I mean, very good crew. Intercept strike team is amazing on the Crenshaw. I'm saying generally most people think strike team loses to Carol. So, there you go. Now again, if I had to pick which one of these I wanted in PvP, I'm still picking Sean's Crenshaw. Right? Like, it took me sitting down with Nemesis and going through, okay, what do you have? Let's try this below decks. We need to move this around. And then we were able to get a couple of W's in, like this right here. Right? But the Crenshaw is top. That's the scariest warship in the game right now. You can argue the Enterprise E is the prettiest, but Crenshaw is a big scare. Again, wanted to show a win from both sides. I don't want Sean or Nemesis think I'm picking on them, but very good ships if you're getting in that range. I'm a long way from you ever seeing this account in that range. Long way away. Very long way. Built uncommon and rare ROM G6 ships, saving feds and Klingons for epics. Almost got my cube rare for tier 15. That's awesome, J Watts. Very nice. Very nice. All right, got all my ships in for TC. I can back out of this. And let me go activate. I'm curious. I know I can't be the 27, but what about that? And I won't try it naked. Let me just go ahead and do these. These should be pretty easy to spam at this point. There we go. Triangle still important? Nope, not really. I mean, kinda. The triangle's importance has drastically diminished. Drastically diminished. You gave me too much. I am running a little bit over time, but here's the thing. Y'all been asking great questions. And We were having great content, so I'm trying to help out, but we are wrapping up here in a second. We are almost 20 minutes past my runtime. That's okay. Sometimes, you know, y'all need help and y'all are asking great questions. And I did have a nice little ADD segment. I had to make up for that. But yeah, mitigation just matters less than it did back in the day because there's so many things that now modify between Apex, ISO, Shred now. All those things now have more value or equal value, depending on how you want to see it, to mitigation. So mitigation is still important, but Jules was actually here a couple weeks ago. We were talking about this. You know, I'm not crewing for mitigation any longer. If it happens, great. But there are too many other things that I would rather magnify. Like if I had the choice between a PvP crew that boost ISO and a PvP crew that helped me make sure I had max mitigation, we choose 100 times out of 100 the ISO crew. Every time. Every time. It's just not that mitigation is irrelevant, but get your mitigation through your favors, through your artifacts, through your research, not through doing things like officers. So it's fallen back in terms of preeminence. Thanks a lot for that. Well, I love it. I love the community here. I love the John Bondis. I love the TJs, the J Watts, the Barkmans, the Mihais, sometimes the Samo. He's Canadian, though. You got to be very careful about the Canadians. They're very wireless. What does that mean? Don't worry about it. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So, thought you're running long since I was able to get you live today. Yes, Sheldon. It's just for you. It's just for you. Missed the alert that you were live. Would have loved to have heard your advice. Well, I am going to do a video about some of the changes to the Alliance store. But you can also rewatch this video as soon as it finishes posting. Ask her about her being married. No. I just can't wait for her to have a child and name it after me. The person who has impacted her the most in her life, one who has helped her most in her life. I cannot wait to have a child named after me. Hey, Mr. Red TV, good to see you. Regular Bartman and only sometimes damp. Doing all right? Oh my goodness. Don't y'all start. Y'all save all the shenanigans for save the shenanigans. Store web claims. You talking about the mission key? Poor Samo. We love Samo. All right, y'all. Yeah, if y'all haven't done your mission key, there's your reminder. Shout out to the one, the only, the Brigadier Jones for the reminder. Love and appreciate you. But I think it is about time. Let's wrap it up, y'all. Hope y'all have had a great time. If y'all want more Rev, I'm literally going live in 3 hours on Twitch. If y'all want to come hang out there. If you have other questions, feel free to join my Discord. A lot of y'all I find are not in the Discord, which is fine. But if you want help, join the Discord. Or you can go to the Facebook page. I know so many different places we can go. I'm typing them out manually. And I'm also on Reddit. And I'm on X. Like, I think, Bond, haven't you hit me up on X before? I think you have. But I think the Twitter link would still take you there. There you go. All those are my links. Hit me up. Last but certainly not least, almost 2 hours. I didn't even plug myself until now. If you want to support the channel, it's never required, but I can only do what I do because of your generosity, because of people who do donate to the channel. So if you're out there and you're willing and considerate, here are the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App links. Greatly appreciate you. I messed up that last one there, but whatever. Whatever. Hold on, let me see if I can copy and paste it without that jacking up. There we go. Every bit helps. None of it's required, but all the content only happens because of that. Like the video on your way out. Greatly appreciate you. Live long and prosper. Deuces. Catch you tonight. Hopefully you come stop on by.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.